It's an exhilarating roller coaster of a ride. Blake Lively playing Stephanie Patrick, who starts off in a very, very dark place at the beginning of the film. She's had a tragedy and she sort of feels as if her life is meaningless. And then she's told that she wasn't to blame for something that she believed she was a part of. And so she goes out to find out who's responsible for the death of her family. And she goes through, oh my God, so many death-defying events. We wanted to make it very realistic and gritty. And we felt that with a female character, we had opportunities to try things that hadn't been done before. She's not a born killer. She has to figure out how to survive in this really scary world. And she's not perfect. And she's kind of pretty terrified most of the time, but she does it anyway. And the way that Reed shot the movie was very much from the point of view of Stephanie Patrick. You really feel as if you're with the character as she's going through the trials and tribulations.
This idea of the root story of an assassin, of a female assassin. I loved her idea, Reed's idea, that it was going to be messy and hard and harsh in a very real world, without the sort of glamour necessarily or the polish of a sort of cinematic world. I like the mystery behind Boyd. I like the idea of playing someone whose past only just comes to the surface towards the middle and the end of the film. You don't really know everything about him. Working with Blake and working with Barbara. I'd known Barbara for a while. Being in a Barbara Broccoli film was really, really exciting to me. She's sort of unlike any other producer I've ever worked with. Incredibly caring, incredibly thoughtful and detailed and passionate and hands-on. A series of relationships, a series of discoveries of a project that just seemed original and fresh and challenging. The script, from the perspective of a woman in an extreme scenario, taking on and facing the challenges and the world the way this character does, and then the way in which Blake approached that as an actress, the way in which Reed then wanted to demonstrate that as a director. So, for example, the violence or the attempts at becoming someone skilled in violence, rather than showing it goes back a little bit on what I just said, but instead of showing the glossy, polished finesse of someone, oh, this is easy. Killing someone is very hard because they don't want to die. And it's Reed's choice of show the mess, show the effort. And what that meant was that occasionally, we shoot things in a single take.
Stephanie, the main character, played by Blake, she's not your average female action hero. She's much more relatable. I'm hoping that regular people who go to see her in the movie theatre are going to think, actually, that could be me. I mean, she's in extraordinary circumstances, but she's not one of these sort of superhero types at all. So she's making mistakes, she doesn't get it right, she's scared, every time she's out there she's worried that she's not going to make it. There is a lot of action in this movie, but I would say it's character-driven rather than plot-driven or action-driven. And my literary agent, years and years and years ago when I wrote the book, so more than 20 years ago, the thing that sort of changed my direction and which allowed me to write this book and get it published and then to write the screenplay and get the movie made was his mantra was very simple, which was character is everything and plot is just detail. And I think, that's something which I think is completely 100% true, and actually Blake's performance reflects that. There are some great action sequences and everything, but it's actually all about her.
She starts out completely destroyed and just near death, and she just trains up and becomes an assassin, which is always very exciting. I love that kind of a story.
Reed, Barbara, Blake have done a fantastic job at bringing together some of the most incredible crew. Fantastic car chases, action scenes, and underneath it, there's the heart of a story, which Blake brings to the screen so beautifully as well. Well, the story's really about Blake's journey. She starts off in a really desperate place, and through her meeting with the journalist, Proctor, who I play, she learns that her family have been killed by an act of terrorism and goes on a journey to try and get justice for what's happened. So Proctor's kind of the catalyst for her becoming the assassin that she later becomes. There's a wonderful, wonderful fight sequence with Jude Law, which is shot in one take. Really visceral stuff. Barbara's stamp is all over this as well, Eon Productions, who make the Bond movies, with our extraordinary locations, with our fantastic stunt team, and just the style of the film. You know, it looks beautiful. It's even though it's a dark story, it goes to some dark places. It's a real event to watch.
It's just been an amazing journey, and I'm just really excited for the world to see Blake's performance, because I know people know Blake has something special. They've seen it before in other roles, but I feel like this, when they see what she does, it's gonna like knock their socks off. She went like all out, and you know, there was no vanity. She invested everything she had in it, and did everything herself, you know, like all her stunts, and you know, it was just like the most incredible commitment to her character. And you know, every day on set I was just my mind was blown, and I was really emotional watching her.